We welcome you to the West Coast Conference this week. It is presented by Geico, and we're on the campus of LMU here in Los Angeles, California. And hello again, everybody. I'm Barry Tompkins. Once more, my partner Casey Jacobson. And Casey, let's talk a little bit about the conference. So far, only 2 weeks into the conference right now, but so far as advertised.
No surprises at the top. Gonzaga is one of the best teams in the country, so of course they're leading the WCC. But St. Mary's is playing some of their best basketball of late, and also BYU. BYU's only loss came at the hands of the Bulldogs at home. They're one of the top scoring teams in the country.
Let's take a look at where things stand right now in the West Coast Conference. And yes, we're early, but preseason schedules mean a little bit too, and a couple of teams coming in here pretty darn good. St. Mary's right now on top of the conference, all by their lonesome. 3 up, none down, 10-3 overall. Gonzaga is 13-1, nationally ranked, of course. They are 2-0 in the conference. BYU is right there, and then it's Portland at 10-4, perhaps a surprise to some. Pepperdine right there lurking, as is Pacific, certainly the surprise team of the conference thus far. Well, week 2, Casey, and let's talk a little bit about how things are going so far, as expected at the top. But who do you see in that 4, 5, 6 spots?
I'm looking at Portland right now. This is a team that just last week won at the buzzer. Alec Wintering hit a 3 at San Diego. That's a tough team. And Portland actually didn't even shoot well. They didn't play well. That's a sign of a good team, a tough team that can win games on the road even when they don't play well. And then Pepperdine with Stacey Davis and Jet Raines, one of the best front courts in the WCC. I'm looking at them to maybe vault up into that 4th or 5th spot.
All right, here at LMU, it's been a tough road so far for Mike Dunlap in his first year. A lot of new faces on this LMU team. Most of the team, as a matter of fact. With more on that, let's meet the third member of our broadcast team. Here's Kelly Tennant. Kelly?
Thanks so much, Barry. Coach, thank you so much for joining me. I want to get your take on what it's like for you coming home and taking over this program.
Well, I think that basically the thoughts have been to put some things in place that can stand the test of time. So really it's been work related. We've been on the hop since I got here. And just coming back into this community is special because it's relaxed and you kind of know where your targets are. I know where to eat and where to live, and all that stuff was easy for me coming back. And also is because of the tradition of the people that I knew when I was young. Some of them administratively are still here, so that makes it very comfortable. I would say that would be the power word.
This is definitely not an easy conference, and thus far, how would you assess your team? Very young, very few seniors on this team, so what's your assessment?
Well, we're mistake riddled, be it on offense or defense, because we don't have that condition response yet, and it's normal. So our attitude as a staff has to be very steadfast. We have to stay with our work tenets, and we can't show discouragement as we go through this. And I think we have done a good job. The players, the work rate's been incredible. So, you know, it's just getting to know the league and also being comfortable with the discomfort. Nobody likes to lose. We understand the importance of winning at home. But everybody has a head start on us as we try to redo this a bit and get it done. So, you know, I guess really the way you go about your business as a professional, I've had plenty of good mentors, be it George Raveling, George Carl, it just goes on and on, Steve Lavin, Ernie Kent. I mean, I've just had lovely people to work with, so I know what to do, but the patience word is the key here.
Patience, and I hear you're the perfect guy to be teaching these players, so thank you for joining me, Coach.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Good luck today. Barry, let's go back over to you.
All right, thanks, Kelly. So it's been a tough road, to be sure, for LMU so far. But for St. Mary's today, they got to take care of business. You got to beat the teams you're supposed to beat.
Yeah, obviously they come in favored today, but don't tell that to Coach Randy Bennett. He doesn't want to hear about that. He's got these guys locked and loaded. Winning on the road in WCC is tough to do no matter who you're playing.
All right, a lot more to talk about here on the West Coast Conference this week, presented by Geico. And, of course, our game of the week, LMU and St. Mary's. That's coming up after this show. On the other side of this commercial break, we'll take you back to the studio. Coach and Geet are going to bring you up on everything West Coast Conference.
Welcome back to the Geico WCC This Week in Los Angeles. I'm Chris McGee alongside the coach, Dave Miller. I know you're excited, aren't you, Coach?
I love the WCC.
I know you do, buddy. Let's get into the conference highlights from Thursday. We start with a BYU at Santa Clara outside the Levy Center from sunny Santa Clara. And BYU getting off to a fast start. Kyle Collinsworth with the steal. Fast break pass the other way to Chase Fisher. He's going to lay it in.
Well, you know, Chris, BYU, the #1 scoring team in the nation. They love to push it.
Santa Clara finally going to get something going here. Jared Brownridge. Step back three.
Loves the way he creates space, can score buckets anytime, any place, anywhere.
Tyler Haas, he can flat out score. Feeling it in the first half. Fadeaway jumper, he connects.
He also does it anywhere he wants, inside, outside, scores in bunches.
BYU up 19 at halftime, second half, all BYU. Great hustle by Collinsworth, behind the back pass to a wide open Fisher. Oh, that's fantastic. He's going to hit the three.
That was #fancy, getting his Iggy Azalea on.
BYU faithful and full support on the road. They win it going away 81-46. Collinsworth 8 points, 15 boards, and 6 assists. St. Mary's at Pepperdine. Waves welcoming in the Gales from St. Mary's. Both teams undefeated in WCC play. Tight game in the first half, under 5 to play. Brad Waldo, not pretty but effective, gets the bucket to go.
Where's Waldo? In the paint where he does work.
St. Mary's went on a run to close the half. Aaron Bright with just a few seconds left in the half buries the three ball.
That shot was academic from the Stanford transfer.
But here comes Pepperdine. Lamont Murray Jr., son of former NBA player Lamont Murray, had 11 points off the bench, cuts the Gales' lead to 6. That's as close as the Waves would get out of a double team. Waldo to Bright, and he's going to drain another three ball. 9 3-pointers for St. Mary's.
3 ball, corner pocket.
Gales 68-59 winners. Let's go to Pacific at Loyola Marymount. Pick it up midway through the first half. Pacific's David Taylor on fire from behind the arc. Hits a three ball. Taylor hit 5 of them in the game. Minute to go in the first half. TJ Wallace on the drive, dishes the big man, Gabriel Aguirre.
You know, it's a simple game, Chris. Draw 2, drop it off.
Lions made a small run to start the second half. Evan Payne from outside, foot on the line. Ruled a 2. Lead cut to 5. Payne had a game-high 27 points. Pacific, too much down the stretch. Close to 50% from three-point land. Wallace drills this one.
That defense gets you beat 7 days a week. Get to the shooter.
Pacific wins at 77-63, their first conference win. LMU still winless in WCC play. Final second, San Diego up 1. They missed the free throw. USF with a chance to win. But Christopher Anderson of San Diego comes up with the steal on Matt Glover.
Anderson. He stole the ball.
Getting your Johnny Most on. San Diego wins it 57-56. Anderson 9 points, 5 assists. San Diego got 30 points from their bench. Here's what the conference standings look like early in the conference season. St. Mary's and Gonzaga remain the only undefeated teams. Loyola Marymount is the only team without a win. San Francisco, which finished tied for second in the WCC last year, has 2 early season losses. Coach, I know it's early, but are you concerned about San Francisco and can they regain that form from last year?
Well, when you look back, they lose Cole Dickerson, they lose Avery Holmes. Those are huge losses, but there's so many games left in the conference that I think this team can compete. Because when you think of Pinkins and Tollefson, they've got to carry the load. But the problem is, I need to see more from Dirksen and Glover. Rex Walters, the reigning WCC Coach of the Year, he's going to get this team defending and rebounding. But this team doesn't look as deep to me. They're 5 to 7 deep. So they're going to really count on the guys on the floor to be productive, both offensively and defensively. But I think they're going to be okay. Last year was a breakthrough season with those 21 wins. They've got to build on that.
Coach, switching over to Gonzaga, Bulldogs last played on Monday. They got a very good Portland team coming at them, 6:30 Pacific time. Can Portland pull the upset?
I think they can because, Chris, if you look back to last year, they beat them and they upset BYU at home. And with Kevin Bailey out, Alec Wintering has stepped up big time. He dropped a career-high 30 points at BYU. I really like their guards. Vandemars leads the bigs. Now, Voldy's got to help inside. But you know Eric Reveneau. This team is going to take on his personality, and they're going to compete and play hard. There's a slight chance if the stars align and everybody's on the same page and all cylinders are going, they may pull the upset.
All right, Coach. Loyola Marymount has a new head coach this season, but it's someone who has been around the game for a long time, from coaching in Division II to coaching in Australia to major D1 programs like Arizona and St. John's to being at the helm of the Charlotte Bobcats in the NBA. Mike Dunlap has seen it all. And then he sat down for a coach versus coach with you. Now that's the real hot seat.
Coach, you're on Coach to Coach in the hot seat. Best player you've ever coached?
That's hard to say. As Coach Wooden, when you asked him that question, he'd always throw out about 6 guys so he didn't hurt anybody's feelings. But professionally, it'd have to be Carmelo Anthony. I was an assistant, of course, but Carmelo was very special. And then Kimba Walker, when I was the coach of the Charlotte Bobcats, now the Hornets, Kimba was very, very special.
Best player in the WCC?
Oh, I would have to say you have to tilt towards Gonzaga, and I would just, without picking one over the other, I'd just say that their team. I just like their team.
Toughest place to play away from LMU?
Oh, you know, to win at Gonzaga and BYU and St. Mary's, those 3 year in and year out, if you look at their home record, statistically, they're 3 tough gets.
What's your favorite non-basketball activity?
Running. I love to run.
One person, dead or alive, you'd love to have lunch with?
My father.
Who do you follow on Twitter?
Well, I follow a lot of people, but I would say that just because of we're friends and whatnot, and I think he's hilarious, is Steve Lavin.
What superstitions do you have game day?
Do everything the same, but everything's even for me, even numbers, even words, all of that. I'm a little bit strange that way, but if it's not and it falls on an even thing, I just get away from it.
If you weren't a basketball coach, what would you be doing right now?
I'd be an attorney.
Tupac or Biggie?
Biggie.
I ain't mad at you. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you.
All right, love that. Coach Dunlap, can he turn this program around?
You know, if there's anybody out there that can, it's him. Because when you look at him, he's a coach, but I like to call him a teacher, and it's with his experience. I mean, from Division II to some major programs, and then to be able to go to the NBA. Because the one thing that student athletes are looking for that want to play Division I basketball, they want to have that chance to play at the next level. And I've always said this, coaching in college. If you want to be a pro, then you should play with someone who either played or coached in the NBA. And I think that gives him a distinct advantage. Chris, we've talked about this now for a couple years. When you look top to bottom at the head coaches in the WCC, all of them can X and O because you're not getting the greatest players in the country. Sometimes you get more from less, but it starts with coaching and putting kids in a position. I'm looking forward to the skill development. Now, he's got a tough task ahead of him. Evan Payne is his star. Who is going to develop on that roster offensively and defensively? Time will tell. But Dunlap, when he teaches and he yells, there's a method to his madness. And whenever he speaks, those kids should absorb it because he's been at the highest level coaching NBA guys.
Love it, Coach. Coming up next on WCC this week, the story of 2 Loyola Marymount seniors, the car accident that would change their lives and bring them even closer together. The WCC Player of the Week for last week is Kyle Collinsworth. The BYU junior guard averaged 17 points, 11 boards, and 6 assists as the Cougars went 2-1 with wins against Portland and UMass. In their loss to Gonzaga, Collinsworth became the first player to record a triple-double in a WCC game since Doug Christie in 1991. In a split second, things changed for two Loyola Marymount seniors after looking forward to their senior season last year. Ayodeji, Egbeyemi, and Godwin Okonji, who were roommates, friends, and practically brothers, had that year taken away from them due to a serious car accident. But now they are back with a fresh perspective and a new outlook on life. Amanda Blackwell has a story of their comeback.
2013-14 was supposed to be special. After 3 seasons at LMU, Ayodeji, Egbeyemi, and Godwin Okonji were ready to leave it all out on the floor in their senior years.
It was my last go-around. That was what was in my mind. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to give it my all, give it my best. We were really excited. We had a couple good scrimmages. We'll be having good practice and good preparation, worked all summer.
I'm going to my senior year. I was like, wow, it's coming to an end. I think for every athlete, it's just the same mindset. You want to go out with it, making a statement.
The two seniors had grown very close during their time in college. They knew each other in their home country of Nigeria. And by the time they reached their final year at LMU, they were inseparable.
We've been roommates since freshman year, lived on campus for like 2 years, got our own place off campus.
It's crazy because, living with him is like, okay, yeah, we fight, we get along, we kind of do things together. So it's like, my brother, you fight with your brothers all the time, so yeah, that's just the way it is.
We talk about a lot of stuff, we share a lot of stuff and help each other out with different things. So yeah, he's pretty much my family out here.
It was coming from their shared apartment on October 20th, 2013, that their senior season was thrown off course. Okonji and Egbeyemi were driving to an early morning practice when a car turned right in front of them.
I saw her early enough, so I tried to veer off and still hit her, propelled onto the pavement. My car was totaled. When Godwin got out, my door was jammed shut, so I saw his face was bloody, so he got out. And I was trying to open my door, and I couldn't. He already ran out. I'm like, man, this car about to explode. I got to get out of here. So I just flew out the door he came out of, and it was just so fast, It was just so weird.
I mean, I saw my life flash before me, It was like, wow, so is this how it's going to end? I mean, after all these years here in America playing basketball, is this how it's going to end? We just kept looking at each other like what's the meaning of this? What's going on?
Okonji suffered a leg injury severe enough to keep him out for the entire season. Egbeyemi's injuries were to his chest and back. He was able to play, but unable to lift weights, which doctors believe ultimately caused him to suffer a season-ending hip injury during the team's 8th game of the year. Though they were grateful the accident wasn't more serious, the seniors struggled with their spots on the sideline.
I just feel like the team needed me. As a team captain, I don't want to let my teammates down.
The hard part is, when everybody's practicing, you're going to rehab, when you get back, you see them practice, you just want to be on the floor with them.
It was near this spot on Manchester Avenue where the two Lions' seasons were derailed in a matter of seconds. And from here, they started the long road back to health.
I think it was 4 or 5 months. I was like fully back, kind of just rehabbing, gotten stronger. The accident just taught me that, I got knocked down. I just got to get back up again. A lot of good things that come out of it. I got to play for a new coach, which is pretty exciting. I also get the chance I'm in the NBA program. A lot of blessings came out of it, and I'm just excited I got another chance to really play a full season again.
I'm happy that I can walk with both feet, Who knows what would have happened if it was like, if I had broken my leg and I'm on a wheelchair right now. So it's just cherishing those little things, the people you see every day, things can just change like a step on the hand.
After working their way back together, Egbeyemi and Okonji are once again ready to take on their senior seasons. This time with even more passion and fire.
For this season, definitely to win more games than I've ever won in college. And I just know by the time we get to conference and when it's all said and done, we're going to shock a lot of teams. I
want this season to be, the best season, as a team. I just want, enjoy every moment of it. I mean, it's the last season. It's my last year of playing college basketball. I just want to make the best out of it.
For the WCC This Week, I'm Amanda Blackwell.
In their second chance at a senior season, Okonji and Egbeyemi are doing their best to help Loyola Marymount. Egbeyemi is second on the team in scoring, 6th in the conference in free throw percentage, while Okonji leads the team in rebounding and is tied for 2nd in steals. And here's the full WCC schedule for today. Loyola Marymount taking on St. Mary's in the WCC Game of the Week. That follows WCC this week. The Gonzaga-Portland game should be a good one. 2 terrific games between those teams last year in San Francisco hoping to avoid falling to 1-3, but they have a tough matchup against BYU. So LMU with their hands full with St. Mary's in the WCC Game of the Week. What's the key to that game?
It's going to come down to pain in the lane. I think the team that scores the most points inside is going to win this game. And when you think about St. Mary's is a team that goes inside out. And I love their guards, Carter, Bright, but Waldo, he's the man. And in transition or in the half court, he's patient, he's poised. He can also face you up. He's gotten better each year. He can back you down. He's able to score over either shoulder. And when you think about it, Chris, St. Mary's wants to get back to the dance. That's what they're about. Randy Bennett is one of the best coaches in the Western Hemisphere. And to do that, you've got to be able to win all your home games, but you got to go on the road and you just can't split. The great teams are able to sweep. He's got to be able to finish this road trip and win. Now, LMU, back to the wall. Yeah. They were fortunate enough, Chris, to open up league play with 3 home games. They're 0-2. Expect Mike Dunlap and this team to come out like a mouse that's trapped by a cat trying to get that cheese. They're going to be battling in Gersten.
Can't wait for the live tweeting from Coach. That's it for me and the coach. We'll get you back out to Gersten Pavilion.
We welcome you back to the WCC This Week. We are on the campus of Loyola Marymount here in Los Angeles. Our game of the week, the St. Mary's Gales and the LMU Lions. This is week 2 for us on our 10-week schedule. St. Mary's Loyola today, and of course USF at Portland. And Portland becoming a very tough home team. They got a tough game tonight, of course, against the Zags. Following week, the Zags will be down here at Gersten Pavilion. Then it's BYU at San Diego, and San Diego can be a tough place for a visiting team as well. LMU up at Pacific and Stockton, then BYU at LMU. St. Mary's at USD. They go down to LA once again to Malibu, where it'll be USF and Pepperdine. We end our season prior to the tournament. San Diego at Portland, and even a couple of games in the quarterfinals in the tournament as well. Long season for me and my partner Casey Jacobson. And Casey, let's talk about X factors and what are going to be the real keys to the game in this one?
Well, for St. Mary's, I'm looking at Kerry Carter. Kerry is a senior guard. He's playing probably his best basketball of his entire career. He's second on their team in scoring and rebounding, shooting 45% from the three-point line. But more than any statistical contribution he makes, it's what he brings in leadership and toughness that really carries this Gales team. And for Loyola Marymount, I'm looking at Ayodeji Egbeyemi. This team is desperate for a second scorer, especially in the backcourt, to help out Evan Payne. And in their last win against DePaul, Egbeyemi had 20 points. They're going to need another huge effort from him today if they're going to have any chance of upsetting the Gales.
All right, let me ask you a twofold question here. First of all, what do the Lions do about Brad Waldo? And the other side of that coin, what do the Gales do about Evan Pierce?
I have no idea how the Lions are going to guard Brad Waldo. I assume a lot of double teams, but Waldo is so used to that, he might pick him apart. I also expect a lot of zone, but for the Lions to really have a shot, I think the first 10 minutes of the first half is crucial. They need to take care of the ball and get good shots.
Randy Bennett, when we spoke to him yesterday, said he's going to start Garrett Jackson, who normally has come off the bench, and he is going to try to handle the big score.
Yeah, Garrett's really, come up. And, for the first few games, he was just a defensive player, but his offense has really exploded in the last few games. He's averaging double figures in his last 3, but his job is going to come in to guard Evan Payne for sure.
All right, so that's the setup for this game. That's our game of the week, St. Mary's and Loyola Marymount here at the Gersten Pavilion. And somewhere along the line, you know LMU is going to jump up and beat somebody. Will it be today? That's a wrap for the West Coast Conference this week. Our game of the week is coming up from here at Gersten right after this.